Yo, what is poppin', y'all? It is your boy, it is Guardy3, and of course, he's back this week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Mr. Wire to Wire himself, Gene Walzak. Gene, how you
No,
doing today, sir?
I'm rocking the snake because all the snake shit that happened at SummerSlam, all the snake shit that happened on Monday Night Raw. I'm rocking the snake tonight, bro.
Honestly, that's a perfect way to sum up SummerSlam and Monday Night Raw. And we'll get right into it because there was definitely a lot to talk about. It was a lot of fun. For anybody that doesn't know, we did a whole wire to wire watch along for SummerSlam. It was a great time. We definitely enjoyed it.
It was fire. But before we get started, can I just have a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to throw my ones up because my tribal chief has returned. That's what I just needed to do that. My tribal chief is here. Not that negative aura, scumbag, bum. Wah, 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 wah. I'm so sick of that. Like, can we get him a new entrance song? Wah, 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 wah.
I've never been that sold on Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief. That always just kind of it felt awkward to me. Like it just wasn't his. Just was never his role to have.
Bro, I can't wait till Heyman gets back.
I thought that was coming on Saturday. Honestly, I thought he'd almost like lead Roman to the ring or at least come out with him.
I will not acknowledge you as my tribal chief. That was literally all of us. We were all at home saying the same thing.
Right. I love that. I remember loving that. It's like, oh, you're about to get destroyed for that, but I absolutely love you even more, Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman's a stud, bro. He's such a winner.
I would say arguably the greatest that we've ever seen grab a microphone. Welcome, Kevin. Thank you for joining our show.
Bro, that's my homie. He just left. He was literally hanging out with me like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, gotcha.
Talking about Jonathan Taylor and Dalton Kincaid being top fantasy football picks.
Oh, well, you could roll the dice on them. Not sure how far that'll get you, but well, let's we ain't talking football right now.
Nah.
Let's talk some SummerSlam. And let's start off with Dirty Dom totally got involved and cost Rhea Ripley the match against Liv. It was completely planned. I was naive during the watch along. I was like, oh, look at Dom helping Rhea not get disqualified. And Mo's the one that had to correct me. He's like, no, he's protecting Liv. That's intentional. And yeah, Dom screws Rhea. They kiss. Overall, it was a great match. Gene, what did you think about this whole segment?
Look, I'm sorry for all the people out there at home that were fooled by Dirty Dominic Mysterio, Brett being one of them. I'll tell you something, right? Let me tell you a story of the scorpion and the frog. Have you ever heard the story of the scorpion and the frog, Brett?
I have not.
So the frog's in the lake and the scorpion wants to get to the other side of the lake. Scorpion being Dirty Dominic Mysterio. The frog being Rhea Ripley. So the scorpion says, hey, frog, can you please give me a ride to the other side of the lake? And the frog goes, no, you'll sting me. And the scorpion goes, well, why would I do that? I can't swim. Then we'll both die. The frog goes, all right, that makes sense. Hop on. So halfway in the middle of the lake, the scorpion stings the frog. And the frog goes, why the hell did you do that? Now we're both going to die. And the scorpion goes, I'm a scorpion. I sting people. For Rhea Ripley to not know that Dirty Dominic Mysterio was going to sting her, that's your own damn fault. I love me some Rhea Ripley. And I am looking forward to the Damian Priest Rhea Ripley era. But Dominic Mysterio turned his back on his own father. and you thought he wasn't going to turn his back on you. Character shows, great story writing, good match. And I got to give Liv Morgan her credit. I've always talked about how bad of a wrestler Liv Morgan is. She's great for like storytelling, microphone, persona, but she's an awful technical wrestler. She's terrible. She did a great job in that match. Just a couple very good moves. All in all, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It was one of my favorite matches that night.
No, that's fair. Honestly, when it comes to this match, I'd say it was probably my second favorite match of the night. When I thought it was a perfect blend of story and technical wrestling. I don't think I've ever really seen the spot where Rhea tries to pop her shoulder back into place using the announce table. That was interesting. And overall, they did a lot of really cool stuff in this match.
Yeah, that had me fooled. Were you fooled? I really thought it popped out. I was fooled.
Yeah, she got me good with that. She sold that perfectly. I was like, oh no.
She's got to be double jointed, bro. She had to pop that out. Because that shit looked like it was popped out. And I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, overall, if I had to give it a 5-star rating, I'd give it a solid, probably like 4 out of 5. It wasn't perfect, but when you add in the story and the technical work, it was very close to being.
It was a perfect lead up, bro. You might even be underselling it at 4. Might be 4.5.
That's fair. I don't really use that. That's probably a better one for it. Probably like 4.5 out of 5.
It was great. The storytelling, the lead up, it made sense. All of it was perfect. And it creates, the thing about wrestling that a lot of people need to understand? SummerSlam is great for everyone watching it. But what makes it so good is when you have to tune in Monday and you have to turn in Friday to see what happens next. And if this didn't give you that, I don't know what did.
It definitely did a great job making you feel emotional and making sure you're like, yeah, now I got to see what Roman does Friday, what Rhea and Damian do Monday, which I'm thinking a mixed tag match is coming with all 4 involved, and I think it's going to be great.
I can't wait, man.
And of course, before I talk about this, I want to give a shout out to Jelly Roll. I thought he was awesome. He not only had the concert, he maybe just has the greatest choke slam on the roster. Like, that choke slam was incredible. Like, he had some pretty slow chair shots, but he made up for that with maybe the greatest choke slam I've seen in a hot minute. So overall, I thought Jelly Roll was absolutely entertaining as the special guest.
Sure. I'll go with. I thought he was okay. I like Jelly Roll. I think that they do that with a lot of special guests. I think that, from Snoop Dogg with the People's Elbow, and it was a good joke slam. I'll give him that. Nothing against Jelly Roll. I was here for it.
Oh, absolutely.
What's up, Kyle?
Poppin' Kyle says, what are you expecting for the Netflix era of WWE? My expectations are really high for that. I'm looking forward to it. They already said it won't be censored, and they can push more boundaries. They'll keep it within a reason because of sponsors, etc. But I'm excited, and I think they're just going to be even more creative than they have been, which with the way they've been knocking out of the park on regular TV. My hopes are really high for the Netflix era.
My hopes are very high for it also. I'm tired of getting censored on the TV where I can't hear the crowd. The crowd is cutting off, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for a little bit more steamy storylines. And look, after 9 o'clock, you can get that R-rated, which is what a lot of wrestling fans are into. You want to have the family moments at the beginning? That's fine, but wrestling to me has always been a 17 to 55 sport.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And of course, after that first match, we have a new Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker.
Don't mind me while I yawn through this. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Braun Breaker's. I think what this showed me more than anything is Braun Breaker's just an incredible athlete. There's some things that he does for his size that I really don't even know how he does it still, and it's really impressive. It's really impressive the way he moves for his size. Overall, I think the match was solid. It was good. It wasn't anything like over the top special for me. Like if I had to give this one a rating, probably closer to like a 3 out of 5. It was good, but it wasn't like terribly special. But overall, Braun Breaker is the new IC champion, and at the end of the day, WWE made the right call with that.
Yeah, we're gonna.
What's up?
We're gonna disagree there. Hold on, I gotta echo. My bad. We're gonna disagree there. I think that. Look, I'm just being really, really honest with you. Braun Breaker is being pushed way too fast. I think that the Intercontinental Championship is being used as a springboard to push a wrestler that's not ready. I am not thrilled with the way they handled it. I don't think the title should ever went to Sammy to begin with. I thought main event Jey Uso should have been the one that took it from Gunther. I understand Sammy had to drop the belt. I understand they're trying to springbolt a new wrestler. It's way too quick. He's terrible on the microphone. I don't like his gimmick. I don't like his shtick. The match was boring. I think they did a terrible job leading up to it. Sammy should have never won as clean as he won at the previous premium live event. I don't like anything about Braun Breaker in this situation. I think his storyline stinks. Just giving you my 2 cents. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think they made the right call. I don't think they made the right call putting the belt on Sammy to begin with.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day with this one, they kind of booked themselves into a corner because as soon as they booked the rematch, it's like, okay, well now Braun really can't lose. So you put Braun into this position where we're going to see coming up. Is he going to sink or is he going to swim? Because you kind of put into a position where, okay, you're going to be the IC title at SummerSlam. You can't afford a second loss to Sami Zayn. So it's interesting. I do agree he's not good on the mic. There's some things to work through, but I guess we'll see. It's one of those we'll have to wait and see what comes next for him. And I'm curious.
He needs a mouthpiece. He needs a Paul Heyman. He needs a manager. I really believe he needs that. He reminiscent of Brock Lesnar. Strong, but never really is going to be great on the microphone.
Dusty, thank you for tuning in. Says, I can't believe you kissed her. Yeah, I think mentally, with going back talking about that Rhea Liv thing, I think in the back of my head, it's new. I knew it. Feel like I probably knew it was coming, but I tend to watch pay-per-views just as a fan and not really looking at through an analytical eye, so I can just like naturally react to everything. So, as soon as he threw that chair in the ring, I knew the kiss was coming. It's like, oh no, never mind. But does WWE need more managers? Can't put everybody with Heyman.
Well, yeah, I think they need more managers. I said give him a Heyman, not Paul Heyman. Like I just want to give him like a manager, someone, a mouthpiece. He needs a mouthpiece, right? I agree with you. They need more managers.
I think there's some good ones. I know Paul Ellering is a good one. I think he's being wasted away with the Final Testament, but I like him as a manager. He's a great mouthpiece. Selena Vega is a good mouthpiece, but I don't know if she'd fit the Braun Breaker character very well.
No.
But I do agree. I think they just need to start working on bringing back some more managers.
Agreed.
Now, I'll give this man his flowers because I might be one of the bigger LA Knight haters. I do like his character. I was just never a big fan of his in-ring work. I always thought it was really bland and dull as soon as the bell rung. But credit to him. It takes two to tango. He stepped up big time on Saturday. Him and Logan Paul had a great match. The moment of the match is still for sure that springboard moonsault that Logan Paul hit. That was out of this world athleticism. So overall, this was a fun one, and I'll give Logan and LA Knight all the credit in the world. They put together a really fun match. I see Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I thought the match was very good. I think that this is the perfect person for Logan to drop the United States title to. I think LA Knight's been over for over a year. I think it's long overdue. Also, the United States champion title can now be defended. Logan Paul defended it 3 times in the span of a year. That's a problem. It's just not something I thought. I think it was a fun decision when they put him on at first. I think Logan Paul should have dropped the belt way earlier than he did. But I mean, I get where the WWE was at. Logan did a very good job of promoting the belt, but LA Knight's been over for a while, and I think this is the right person to take the belt off him.
Yeah, he absolutely deserves it. I honestly thought that they were going to do this whole thing at WrestleMania 40, have Logan lose the belt to LA Knight, but they held it on him a little while longer. But at the end of the day, it was worth the wait. The match delivered. And say I'd probably give this one like a 3.75 out of 5. It was just excellent across the board.
I'm not a fan of LA Knight character as a whole. I think it's like if they blended The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and we're just like, here, let's make a guy, like that's who LA Knight is. He's basically a mixture of the two WWE superstars. I think he's very vanilla, very bland, very repeated, but I do like him. I do like the yeah. I think he's a poor in ring, but I love how over he is, and he's good on the microphone. So I give him credit where credit's due. I'm right there with you. It's about 3.5 out of 5.
No, absolutely. And this was a match I'll admit I wasn't really looking forward to it. I thought this was going to be my bathroom break match, and I thought they did fine, but I was not really a big fan of this one. They say we saw a teased cash in from Tiffy to help Nia become the champ. Overall, this match kind of bored me, but Nia is now the champ after 3 bonsai drops. That was brutal to watch. So, Gene, what did you think about this match?
It was also a terrible match. I think, it's funny because I think Nia Jax had such an incredible match with Rhea Ripley in Perth, Australia at Elimination Chamber. And I don't think Nia is bad. Like a lot of people think she's terrible. I don't. I think she's great for wrestling. She's a larger than life superstar, the irresistible force, the immovable object. I get that, right? I like that mentality, the big, strong champion. I think her character's great. I think she's a very good heel. I just don't think she's a very good ring partner with Bayley. I think Bayley is not the type of person you want to see her in the ring with. I think you need a little bit more of a David versus Goliath type matchup where you have a smaller, more agile wrestler, or you need someone that can match her strength for strength, which I think her best feud is going to be when they put her in the ring with Jade Cargill. I think that'll be what a lot of people look forward to. I think Bianca, Jade Cargill, wrestlers of that stature would be great opponents for Nia Jax, and they'd be things that I would look forward to watching. Whereas, I'm not a fan of the hugger. I think it was a great story to end at WrestleMania with Bayley beating Io Sky and the damage control vibe and all that. But they're very, just in my opinion, Bayley, Io, they're just crap champions, right? Like you talk about Io Sky being the women's champion, but like, in what world does she ever beat Jade Cargill? In what world does she ever beat Bianca Belair? In what world does she ever beat Charlotte Flair? Like, they're just not like, but you could see Nia beating Bianca. You could see Nia in a fight with Jade Cargill. Like, I feel like that when you put in a not believable champion, it makes it, I don't know, not, it takes we all know it's not realistic, right? But
Yeah.
it takes away from the flair. And I think that Nia is a believable champion. And I think that you'll see a lot more big matchups with her versus Bianca, her versus Nia. I think that's where we're going to head.
Yeah, that was almost my issue going into this match because I'm like, okay, I've watched them wrestle multiple times now, and they have not had a notable match yet, which you would think that if the chemistry were there at some point during one of their like 5 matches before this, it would have clicked at some point, but it just never really did with Bayley and Nia. So to me, this was the worst match on the card for me. This one probably give it like a 2.
You're generous tonight.
Probably being a little too nice with that one.
It was a 1. The match sucked. And, now you got that Tiffy time. You're doing the Finn Balor, Damian Priest thing all over again, where the person that has the briefcase is friends with the person that has the belt. Finn Balor was fighting for the belt with Seth Rollins, not has the belt, but it was very similar, the thought process behind it. I think that you need to, and the Tiffany Stratton thing will be perfect if you like the way you book her losing, like Tiffany being the champion, which Tiffany's going to be the champion. She deserves the catapult she's getting. Is you book Nia versus Bianca, Bianca beats Nia, and then Tiffany cashes in. That's how you do that. Bianca's such a perfect transition champion because she's so good and she's so believable in wins and losses. I think that's how you book the cash in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think someone like Bianca would be perfect. And like you said, it's believable. And the thing with Bianca, too, if Bianca gets cashed in on and loses the match, it's not going to hurt her at all. So,
correct.
So you need like a vet that if you lose, oh, well, who cares? That doesn't really matter that much. And Bianca's been built up to such an extent that, yeah, I agree. I think that would be the perfect transitional period from Nia to Tiffany.
But see, you can also book Tiffany rematching versus Bianca. See, like here's long-term booking, in my opinion, before we get off of the Nia Jax. Bianca beats Nia. Tiffany cashes in and beats Bianca. Bianca comes back and beats Tiffany. And then Jade Cargill gets a little bit, I don't know, jealous. And then you book Bianca versus Jade at Mania. Like, that's your long-term booking. And if you book that for a title, man, that is it right there.
Yeah, honestly, that sounds like a great WrestleMania Night 1 main event for next year if they play their cards right.
100%.
So, and then this match was tons of fun. This, to me, was the best match of the night. Gunther versus Damian Priest. Oh my goodness. If there's one move in wrestling I would not want to take, it might be slap from Gunther, or at this point, Damian Priest. Because I left the room for a minute, came back in, Gunther's chest is bleeding. I'm like, what in the world is happening here? Like, I walked away for a second. This was hard hitting. It was a slobber knocker. In the words of good old JR, both men were tougher than a $2 steak. And it was great. It was a great hard-hitting match that told a great story with Finn Balor coming down at the end and eventually costing Damian Priest the title. This, to me, by far was the best match of the night, and I don't even think there was a close second, really.
So I think Gunther is a believable champion. I think he's a very good mouthpiece. I think it's perfect booking to be able to get him before Bash at Berlin. I love the Randy Orton. I don't want to skip ahead, but I love the Randy Orton, Gunther, the rematch. It's an easy person you can give Gunther to win against at home. That will be a big enough name to draw. Here's crazy thing I never thought I'd say. When Damian won the briefcase, I was like, this is so dumb. He is not ready. He's nowhere near ready. He's not a good mouthpiece. He's not a great wrestler. He doesn't have a great gimmick. He doesn't have a good shtick. I hate it when he won Money in the Bank. 1 year later, at WrestleMania when he won the belt, I'm like, still not a Damian guy. In just 4 months, Damian Priest has made me a believer. He has been awesome. He's been a great champion. He's gotten better and better each week. And I was very happy with the run of Damian Priest. And I look forward to watching more of him. It was almost like Jey Uso before he left the bloodline. Yeah, he can't be a singles guy. I don't see it. And then he became a singles guy, and I'm like, oh, wow. Love it. I think Damian Priest really came into his own. And I think the belief that Triple H has put in him has been rewarded because Damian Priest has been really good.
100% agreed. Like, yeah, absolutely, Kyle. Like, you could just see him progressively just like getting more comfortable and raising his game when he needed to go against Jey Uso on the mic. When Jey Uso's good at that, he rose to the occasion. This time, his challenge was to match Gunther in ring with his physicality, and he rose to the occasion. It didn't matter what you threw in front of Priest. He rose to the occasion. He's a special talent, and he's going to be a main eventer for years to come. And I think it's the right call at the end of the day. Get the title on Gunther. I think he has a great title reign, maybe till like Mania 41 at the minimum. I don't see him losing it before Mania. Overall, this match, if I had to rate it, probably like a 4.25, 4.5 out of 5. It was really close to me. It was like at least a 4.25, I think is fair for it.
I love the match as a whole. I thought it was a very good match. I thought we needed to break up the Judgment Day. It was getting very stale. And look, here's one thing a lot of people won't admit. They really put Finn Balor on the back burner when he is such a tremendous wrestler. And he had been like basically demoted to like a lackey when in reality, I'm really looking forward to a Finn Balor, Damian Priest beef. I have a feeling that'll be the main event of Bad Blood. Looking forward to that. I think that bringing Finn Balor more to the top of the card and giving him more of a storyline is definitely the move. And I think Damian was incredible. And then take a step forward. We all knew Gunther was going to be the World Heavyweight Champion the night he lost the Intercontinental Championship. They needed to get the Intercontinental belt off of him so they can skyrocket him into being the World Heavyweight Champion. He is exactly what you look for. He's a great mouthpiece. He's a great figurehead. He's believable. He's strong. I love everything about it. Really big fan of the match and love where they can go with multiple storylines from here.
Oh, absolutely. And forgot to put a graphic up for the other one, but obviously after that there was we had Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee. And there's a lot of people saying that CM Punk looked gassed a couple minutes in. And I saw some people online, they were complaining about Punk's stamina. When in all reality, I thought Punk looked great. I thought he looked great throughout the entire match. And the thing with CM Punk is he always looks tired. If you watch CM Punk matches, he always looks fatigued. He fights like a fatigue style. He sells fatigue really well as matches wear on, so it looks like he's gassed, but he's really not. So overall, the whole thing with the bracelet being the main story part, I don't think that was it. I think there are better ways to build the match around than with that little bracelet. But overall, I think the match was fine.
We disagree again. I'll say a couple things. It was 11 minutes into the match before CM Punk made a wrestling move on Priest. Or not on Priest, on Drew. CM Punk is finished. He's washed. He is an awful wrestler now. He used to be one of the best in the world at wrestling. He is terrible at it. What sells CM Punk is how good he is on a microphone, not his wrestling abilities. His wrestling abilities have now diminished. He did look gassed. I disagree with you there. I think this match was forced. I think it was a perfect storyline that ended up getting rushed near the end. I think they forced Seth Rollins in to be the special guest referee because they didn't have a match for him at SummerSlam, so they needed to put Seth Rollins in something because he's been their best soldier. It was awful, and I'm going to be honest with you. We disagree, and that's fine. I really enjoy disagreeing with people because that's what makes debates fun. I thought the match was poor. I think that the storyline and the mouthpiece before the match was great, but yeah, was not a fan. Not a fan of a lot of stuff. I wasn't a fan of the illogical arguing with Seth about being not a great referee, and I hated the weird stipulations. We only have one rule, and that rule is, and then proceeds to read out like 10 rules. Like, I hated the way it was booked. I am here for Seth Rollins, CM Punk, WrestleMania 41. I don't care how we get there. That's what I want. And I want that mouthpiece, and I want that to be for something. I don't care if it's a loser leaves town match and Punk retires. But I feel like it should be for something. And the Drew storyline with the bracelet is stupid. I hated how CM Punk took Drew off his shoulder because he's seen the bracelet on Seth. I felt like it was really shitty writing. And I felt like you had 3 absolute superstars in the ring, and you did a really poor job on delivering. This match got a 2 out of 5 for me. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't have it ranked that high. If I had to give this one a rating, I'd have like a 2.25. Like, it was better than Bayley and Nia, but not by that much.
No.
Like I said, it was disappointing, and that's almost why it was disappointing for me, because it was just fine, and we expected so much more from CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. They had been building this thing for months.
7 months.
And that's disappointing. For me to come out and say, yeah, this match was fine, that's not what I want to say after a match that has this much build. So I do actually agree with you. I think it's disappointing, and it is disappointing because it's just, at best, fine. And I agree. The wheels kind of fell off towards the end with the booking, and the whole thing with the bracelet to me was just stupid. Like, you can literally we can make another one for you, Punk. I promise. You can make one the exact same, different colors. We can make it Chicago Bears colors if you really want it. But yeah,
I wasn't a fan.
No,
I think Punk is so good on the microphone that I just deserve and expect more. And I think Drew is a really bad matchup for him because of the size difference and because Punk's deteriorating. I really believe him and Rollins, because of their size and their stature, is the perfect matchup to book.
Yeah, like I said, Punk's always seemed to, throughout his career, just sell fatigue so well. It's kind of tough to tell at times. Like, are you just selling or are you really gassed? Like, I can't tell with him sometimes. So sometimes I do miss when he's actually tired because I'm like, I can't.
I think they're so worried about him getting hurt, Brett, that they just book because he's so good on like as a mouthpiece. I think they constantly just book like him punching and him kneeing, and like he doesn't receive much as far as beatings. And I think they're just worried about his injury history.
That's fair. And that leads us to our main event. Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, but nobody cares about the actual match. We only cared about the end. The return of Roman Reigns. Now, thinking about the actual match, you knew it was going to be shenanigan-y. As soon as they announced Bloodline rules, we knew there was going to be 27 interferences. I wasn't necessarily a fan of them trying to recapture the magic from WrestleMania Night 2. Like, that was a perfect storm what they did. But then this just felt like a cheap copy of that. Now, some of the spots were impressive. Jacob Fatu was insanely impressive. That man can move in a way somebody this size shouldn't be able to. Tonga Loa somehow missing the corner, trying to drive Cody into it was just, he's got to be doing that on purpose. He's got to be messing up moves on purpose at this point. But overall, I don't think that this was that great. I don't think this was a great match. I think this was really just elevated in the end by the return of Roman Reigns.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Night one of WrestleMania, Cody gets rock bottomed and people elbow and gets pinned in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Did you not find it super not believable and not realistic the way he kicked out of like finisher after finisher, getting thrown through the table by three people, and then a Jacob Fatu double finisher in the ring, and then he kicks out? Like, it gave vibes of like, we know the match isn't going to end and we're just going to beat the shit out of Cody for this long. I thought it was a fun match. I don't understand what Cody's stamina is. I don't understand it. I don't follow. I think that a champion almost always should be a heel, because when faces are champions, it creates weird kickouts for like things that just don't make sense. He gets thrown through a table and gets a double finishing move from Jacob Fatu and he kicks out. Like, now you're just making it unbelievable. Now, what I will say is I'm very disappointed that Jimmy Uso didn't return. I really want to see Jimmy Uso back. I want to start seeing the development of the OG bloodline to create for War Games. It better be Roman, Jimmy, Jay, Sammy. Like, it better be that. I do want to see how hurt Jacob Fatu really is. I know the report's saying he wasn't as hurt as people expected him, but he definitely looked hurt. I guarantee you that was not the spot that they were supposed to have with him laying in the corner. You make him invincible, and then if it was not an injury, an ankle injury keeps him sitting in a corner and watches Roman Reigns' 10-minute walk to the ring. I don't know. Just didn't feel right. I'm happy that my tribal chief has returned. I'm happy that I can enjoy some SmackDown, because if I'm being completely honest with you, SmackDown's been very dry with this new bloodline. The aura is so bad, so poor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I honestly, after he went through the table, after Fatu went through the table, I thought we were going to get a Jimmy return before Roman. I thought he was going to take out Fatu after that. But no, I do agree. And they did it perfectly on night two, having everybody take different moves. And it wasn't just all Cody absorbing the damage, but
correct,
giving him that insane, like, prime John Cena 2007 level booking where he could kick out at 27 finishes. I don't need to see that. I really don't. And I really dislike that. And overall, I think this almost showed too that I don't think Solo's quite ready yet. I like Solo.
You don't think?
No,
Triple H did the best job of trying to look at how tough a position he was put in. Like, he was trying to sell so hard that, like, dude, listen to me. Solo he has negative aura. Negative. The only person that has worse aura than Solo is AJ Styles. Yes, AJ's catching a stray from me because I think he stinks.
Yeah, I just think he was too slow. Like, after every move, he's looking for a crowd reaction. It's like, dude, just speed it up. The crowd will react when they're ready to. Like, they're not going to react after every punch you threw. Overall,
wah, 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 wah. The worst entrance music of all time, too.
Yeah, that too. His entrance music is pretty abysmal. Overall, I would say I'd probably rank this match slightly higher than, both Punk and Nia, but also it's mainly because of that guy standing right there. I'd probably give this match, if we're including the Roman return, a solid 3 because I think he can only carry it so much, but everything preceding before it was just not my cup of tea.
Roman's too good, bro. I give it a 3.5. He's so good that he doesn't like just the way he looks, his overall aura, like the way like he walks, the confidence in which he has. He's just too good. And like the people that don't like acknowledge how good he is. Oh man, he carried SmackDown for 2 years, a year with that whole Sami Zayn bloodline. Oh man,
Yeah, no.
he's just too good. He can carry you through the worst times.
Oh, for sure. And I'm excited to see this Friday who's going to be on. I'll be watching after work, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, they're gonna whoop his ass. You better believe he's getting his ass beat this Friday.
I'm kind of expecting it, honestly. So, and of course,
womp 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 womp.
we go from one main event to opening a Monday Night Raw, and they already announced the main event for Bash at Berlin. We got Gunther and Randy Orton. We kind of touched on this earlier, won't spend too long on it, but this is the perfect first feud for Gunther. They looped it back to how King of the Ring ended with Randy's shoulders not being down, which I love it when they just add in little details like that.
Yep.
So overall, I love what they're doing here. I saw a lot of people thought that it was going to be Gunther and Ilya Dragunov main eventing Bash at Berlin, but I think that's way too early for that matchup. That's legitimately, that match is going to be so good, it's going to be a WrestleMania quality match. So
Ilya Dragunov is not a WrestleMania quality fighter right now. There's no way. I disagree with that. I do agree that this is a perfect first feud for Gunther. I love the backwards storytelling because the truth is it was a mistake, right? Orton was supposed to be pinned, and it's so great how the WWE can capitalize on their own mistakes by making them into a feud and selling it. Like, I am so thrilled with the way they booked this. And when Orton came out, it was like, oh wow, that's something I did not expect. And it threw everyone through a loop. No one expected it. Orton's a SmackDown guy. I have a feeling you might see a trade of Orton for Jey Uso to be able to get Jey Uso back on SmackDown for the Bloodline Civil War. I think you might see Orton and KO traded for Sammy and Jey. And I think that's the move for those guys, especially after Sammy loses again on Monday Night Raw versus Breaker, because it makes no sense to give him the belt back after SummerSlam. So I think that's the move. I think that's where they're headed. And I love this feud. And I'll tell you right now, Orton said it perfectly. He's one of the only guys that can match him size for size, power for power, technique for technique. Orton, say what you want about Orton. He is incredible in the ring. He is great.
I love the ending of that segment when Gunther told him he'd see the RKO coming, and Randy was just like, good, I want you to see this one coming. Like, that whole segment was just overall cinema. I love that that's the first feud thing that we see for this feud.
Yeah, he said out of nowhere. He said, he's like, you're not gonna catch me, you're not gonna catch me out of nowhere. And because the RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I love that play on words. And I love the way Orton responded. And I often wonder, and Brett, maybe you can answer this for me. How much scripting do you think they do in these promos? Because I almost feel like they're so natural and they're so talented that I feel like that, like, Randy goes out there with his own promo and Gunther goes out there with his own promo and they just match them. Like, I don't know how much they're really scripting these promos because they just feel so natural.
I'm not sure either. From a lot of the only thing I think a lot of it too with like under Triple H is it's not just heavily scripted. Like, you don't get handed an entire script with Vince. More so what I think happens with Triple H, and I could be wrong, so somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's more so bullet points as to what they make sure they want them to talk about, and then they can get creative and script around that.
I agree.
You know, and work with creative.
I
But
agree
no,
with
I agree that these two came off as so natural. It was amazing.
Looking forward to it. I agree.
And then we had Judgment Day drama all around Monday Night Raw. Damian Priest came storming out looking for Finn Balor, and they cut what I will admit was a great promo, great pre-recorded promo. And it set up Damian Priest versus JD McDonough for later in the night. JD actually also cut a really great promo, and then the match itself was actually it was a fun sprint, which led to the Judgment Day jumping Damian Priest. Rhea comes out, chases Liv Morgan and Dom off, and then they just beat up JD in the middle of the ring. I'm just kind of lumping it all together in one big segment here, but what did you think of all the Judgment Day drama that went on Monday?
So I really wish the Judgment Day was like filled with better overall wrestlers. Like, what is Carlito doing there? Like, what are we doing right now? And JD McDonough is just nowhere near ready. He's basically like, I forget the guy's name. Who's the guy that was in Imperium with Gunther and
the Da Vinci or Kaiser?
Giovanni Da Vinci. He's basically the Giovanni Da Vinci, the guy that is going to take the pinfall for you. That's going to get their ass beat in the middle of the ring. Like, that's all JD is. And I think you already have that with Dominic. Like, I feel like you already have that in that group with Dominic. I just really wish that they would have. I wish the Judgment Day was stronger. I wish this new Judgment Day was like they'd have like a real force, and they lose that without Damian and Rhea. And I feel like that's what kept that group together. I hate the Carlito move.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he fits with this new Judgment Day. With him and the other one with Damian and Rhea, it was still awkward, but at least he was kind of really fun. He was a great comedic relief, but I don't think that's kind of what this new Judgment Day needs. Overall, I hope that they don't add any more members. Either kicks. In fact, I maybe hope they kick a couple out soon. But yeah,
I'll say that I do love how WWE does with foreshadowing, and like you go back to pre-Judgment Day when Damian had an issue with Liv Morgan, and Finn Balor beat up Damian, and then they got in a fight in the middle of the ring and over Liv and Liv's face when she was looking at Finn. Going back to pre-Judgment Day and seeing that and like using that as like a springboard for what they have now, I love that. I think that that's just great storytelling. That's 2 years storytelling. That's what that is, right? I'm a fan of Liv Morgan. I think Rhea was so over that you had to make her a face. And I think Liv is perfect to play that heel role. She's got that Harley Quinn thing about her, that evilness to her, and I love it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we get to see the continuation of the fun. It's still a lot of life left with Dom and Liv. Did Liv actually fall for him? Is she just still playing him? Which I'm thinking she's just playing him, but maybe she did fall for him. I'm excited to see where the next evolution in this goes. And I think the next stop for these guys is Bash at Berlin, mixed tag team match, Damian and Rhea versus Liv. And I guess the question is it versus Liv and Finn Balor or Liv and Dominic Mysterio? I'd probably guess Finn Balor.
I think it's got to be Dominic. And I think that the way you have to set it up is you have to set up Finn and Damian for bad blood. And I think you use Finn to interfere in the match. I don't know how you can cost Damian and Rhea the match, but I think use Finn to do something in that match to set up Damian versus Finn. Damian versus Finn is a main event. And you can use that as a main event for a side premium live event like Bad Blood. I think that's what you have to do. I think you got to keep Finn away from Damian. I think they already foreshadowed that by like, oh, you're going to fight JD. And I like that. I like that move. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. Triple H is cooking. Got to give him his credit.
Oh, absolutely. I think
in Paul Levesque, I trust.
Yeah, I think Bad Blood's going to be great. I agree. I think they're going to have that Priest Balor blowout match. I think we're going to get Punk versus McIntyre the second, or maybe the blow-off match there.
I think you get Roman solo.
I'll say if that's the card for Bad Blood, sign me up.
Yep.
And of course, this guy looked like he just obliterated Seth Rollins.
So dumb.
Seth and Punk were talking, and then Drew interrupted, so Punk went after Drew. And then Bronson Reed comes out and hits Seth Rollins with like 6 tsunamis. And he's coughing up blood. And I'll give him credit. I think they did a great job in attempting to really heat up Bronson Reed in a short amount of time. Really does feel like a filler feud since they're trying to save Rollins and Punk for a later date. So they need something to fill in his time for now. But I'll give him credit, man. I think they did a great job in trying to make Bronson Reed look believable after not really doing anything with him these past couple weeks.
We've agreed on a lot tonight. This is the third thing we'll disagree on. This was stupid. I hated the way they made a beef out of nowhere with Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins for no reason. I also believe that they're doing one of two things with Seth. They're either creating a feud with him and Bronson Reed, or they're putting him on the shelf again. I hope they do not put him on the shelf again. I really hope that they create a feud with him and Bronson Reed. And it's the WWE's way of using the best wrestler that they have, the guy that's the best overall wrestler that the entire WWE has, between his technical, between his in-ring, between his mic work. Seth Rollins is the best they have, better than anyone there. And they're using him to put Bronson Reed over. They're using him to build up another superstar. That's exactly what they're doing if they create a feud, because the feud makes no sense. There's no like a Bronson Reed, I didn't get a match tonight. I'm going to go out there and like dive on Seth Rollins 6 times because I didn't get a match. Dumb, stupid, makes no sense. Now, if Seth's got a bunch of vacation or needs another surgery, and this is your way of putting him on the back burner, I understand that. But if you're creating a Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed feud, I feel like there's like 50 wrestlers you can create a feud with that are better box office than big Bronson Reed.
Yeah, I'm not really a big Bronson Reed guy. I just took that as, from that attack, I took it as maybe Seth does need maybe a couple weeks off, or they don't have him on the Bash of Berlin card, and this is their way of explaining why he doesn't make the trip and, build up a feud with him and Bronson Reed. It really felt out of nowhere. I'll give you that. I did not see it coming at all. That was really random.
I like shit that makes sense, Brett. I really do. I like the logic behind things and where they come from. There's not a better beef than Drew and CM Punk because it makes sense.
Mm.
Like, it's logical. And then the only beef that's better than Drew and CM Punk is Seth and CM Punk because it makes sense.
No, I do love it when my wrestling makes sense. I wanted to give a shout out to this man because Odyssey Jones finally debuted. He got drafted to Raw like 2 years ago, and we did not see him at all after that. I got to give him his props because that feat of strength, the double side slam on both Authors of Pain members, I have never seen anything like that. That was just pure insanity.
I mean, it's about time the New Day gets put back on too, because if I'm being completely honest with you, the New Day has been such a, like, I bet you if you looked up the New Day's record over the last year, they're probably like 3-34. And they used to be like one of the greatest tag teams ever. I'm glad that they're starting to build up the New Day again.
Yeah, it just seemed after that Biggie injury, they didn't really know what to do with them, and maybe their answer is we'll try plugging in Odyssey Jones and see what happens. Overall, like I can't think of a better way to debut someone than what they did with him though, because that was insanity.
I did see a little foreshadowing though. Somebody looked a little upset of the Odyssey Jones.
Yeah, say Xavier. Maybe this is their way of breaking up the New Day too. That's something we never thought was gonna happen, or at least not for a long while.
Did you seen that, right? Am I the only one that's seen
Yeah,
that?
no, he did not seem happy.
Yeah.
Then, oh, accidentally put that in there. There we go. This is what I was trying to get to. And our main event of the evening, we finally saw it, the debut of the Wyatt Six against American made Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. And I love this. I thought this went really far. I know a lot of people really were worried about how well would these guys mesh together in the ring, the new Wyatt Six, and I thought they looked fantastic. Creative double team moves. They were willing to sell and try to make American Made look as strong as possible. Like overall, the entrance with the lantern and the chair, this whole thing to me was great. They toed that line between paying tribute to Bray and staying current and keeping on track absolutely perfectly.
Well, Brett, this is one of those times where we agree. I've been very critical of the way they've handled the Wyatt Six. I think it was way too long from WrestleMania until now is the first time they've been on the ring. I hate it that the first time they've been in the ring was on a random Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. I didn't like that. I think it should have been earlier. I think they delayed it with the QR codes and pushed it way too far. But they did a hell of a job together. And that was a great overall match. I loved it as a whole. I'm a big fan of the direction that they headed in. And I love that Uncle Howdy is not the in-ring wrestler with them. He's becoming like the manager. Bo Dallas, I think he'll wrestle, but I love that he becomes the leader of the group where he's not in the ring. And they're really putting light on the other three members. I would really like to see Sister Abigail. And I think that in reality, we're going to keep pushing this narrative that, what is her name, doesn't come back. But I would love for her to come back. What is her name?
Alexa Bliss?
Alexa Bliss, man. I really want to see that. And I think that would really put them over. They need a bigger name.
Yeah, I love that too. Uncle Howdy is almost more like the special attraction in the group.
Yep.
So he's not going to wrestle as much. It's almost exactly like the way Bray Wyatt originally was with the Wyatt family. They would send Rowan and Harper out for tag matches or Braun Strowman, but you wouldn't see Bray Wyatt as much. And Uncle Howdy's taken that role. I'm sure we'll see him in the ring soon at one of these upcoming live events, maybe Bash in Berlin or maybe him versus Chad Gable at Bad Blood.
They almost ruined Eric Rowan in the time Bray Wyatt was out. And this revived Eric Rowan's career, in my opinion.
I remember being so glad when Eric Rowan left because of how bad they did with him on his own.
100%.
Like the whole cage and the whole tarantula that Drew broke, and it was just so weird.
Completely agree with you. Because he's such a force and you can use him in so many more ways.
Absolutely.
Mid-ring guy in Raw. Come on.
And then some of the other stuff that happened. A-Town Down beats Awesome Truth. It looks like we might be trending towards a Miz heel turn. Lyra Valkyrie beat Baszler by DQ. And Sheamus beat Ludwig Kaiser. Overall, it was a great show. It was
Am I the only one that thought Monday Night Raw was more entertaining than most of SummerSlam?
Yeah, honestly, I could see it. Because that it's funny because everybody looks forward to the Raw after WrestleMania, but he cooked so hard with this Raw after SummerSlam. He might have accidentally just raised the stakes on the Raw after SummerSlam now because people might be looking for a really big Raw after SummerSlam, just like the Raws after WrestleMania.
I'm done with the DQs too. It's one thing I wish the WWE would be a lot better at is the interference DQs that keep happening. I hate them. Can't stand them. Yeah, I wanted to see Lyra Valkyrian and Shayna Baszler. I didn't want to see a DQ with interference. I don't like. I wanted to see Damian pin JD McDonough. I didn't want to see a DQ by Finn Balor. It's starting to get annoying with these weird DQs. So, my 2 cents there.
No, I agree. That's one thing they got to be careful of. Just don't DQ too much. Make sure we get a lot of clean finishes. You don't want to overwork the DQ. That's never a great thing. That was one of the problems that we saw a lot of the times under Vince. He would just book guys, and there were so many DQ endings that after a while, it's like, oh, they didn't have any value.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had for today, Gene. Did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I'm just looking forward to getting on here with you guys a lot more often. I'm looking forward to the first episode where it's me, you, and Mo. So I really want to get. I know that you've been back and forth with both of us, but I really want to get all three of us together. And I love being able to disagree with you and have a conversation with you. And we both love wrestling and we both love what's going on in the WWE. But like you have just different perspectives, and that's always fun. So it's fun talking wrestling with you. It's fun talking shop, and I'm really looking forward to this Friday's episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully we'll be able to get Mo on next week. For everybody who tuned in today, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. If you want some more great wire-to-wire programming, make sure to tune in tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for the morning show, 8 a.m. Central Time. I don't know where you all live, but check out the Facebook page, and we have a lot of great stuff in store for you in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and I hope you have yourselves a great day.